Greetings to you. Greetings and welcome to Uncensored Guyana. I am Dr. Prasad. I like the name, Dr. Prasad, because you see, I am conscious as an adult in my right frame of mind. All my mental faculties are working. I chose that name, Prasad, because it is extracted from the word parasad, prasad, of which when you do a puja or you do a religious service within the Hinduism religion, you offer sweets to the deity. And that sweet is considered prasad. From that, prasad came out. I adopted and will soon subsequently legalize my status as it regards to that name. So my name will be, I shall be called Kenny Sherwin Warner Prasad. So to the people from Wynn, to the people in the Azruddin camp, Azruddin Mohammed's camp, /PNC, /AFC, /opposition, /scraps and the scrapes and the lowlifes and vagabonds, to those people, I consciously, because I want to be called or identified by the last name Prasad. Are we good now? Are we good? It is my decision. I alone have that authority to say by what name I wish to be called. Me. Nobody calls me what they think I should be called. You address me however I say I need to be addressed. And I am saying on my public platforms, in my public life, from now, address me as Dr. Prasad, not Warner, Prasad. You call me Warner, I would not respond. You call me Prasad, I will respond. I shall respond to you because that's what I'm saying I wish to be identified as. Are we good? Okay. Hannah Muhammad, I have to call your name again. I have to. It's not that I like your name. I hate the fact that you married a white guy from Europe, an insult to all the Indo-Guyanese. What happened to the Indians stand together? What happened to one Indian under the flag of India? What happened to that? You're so obsessed with the whiteness that you want your kids to look like whatever. You're ashamed of your brown skin, of your melanin. I'm not defending Hugh Todd, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. But I have what you call a photographic memory. It's a gift. I've always had it. This is why I've always excelled in my classes, and I'm a genius because I don't forget stuff. I really don't. I literally know, maybe not the names, but every woman, female, I've had sex with from the time I started. Oh, they're in the thousands. So to all the scraps and scrapes from their PNC, maybe your wife is one of them. Maybe your daughter is one of them. Look at that grandkid that you have. Does it look like me? You never know. But all these women, they wanted to. They wanted to have some love juice. Yes, they just volunteered. Like, Dr. Loeb, I love you. I love you. Can the Holy Ghost and juice come in me? All of the women I slept with had sex with, consensual sex. Everyone invited me from when I began as a boy. Just so you scraps and scrapes understand that. You know, the wind people, just so you understand that. I have to speak in languages that they understand, folks. You see, I can't represent my suit when I'm talking to the ghetto. They don't understand the language of the suit. They understand the language of the sag pants. You know, when you wear your pants and you sag, you're under your ass and you can't even walk properly. Yeah, them fuckers understand the language from that kind of people. But so I have to, condescend to the mud, get my skin nasty, dirty with the fucking black dirt, so I can communicate to these idiots. Hannah Mohammed, I literally heard the time when they were talking about the Mohammeds and the Venezuelan embassy. As a matter of fact, go look at my videos, man. Go look at my videos. I covered it also. The people never said Azruddin Muhammad. The question was asked, why, what was the Mohammeds doing at the Venezuelan embassy? The father was seen there. He acknowledged that he was at the Venezuelan embassy. We have covered that before. Nobody said Azruddin physically with his fucking feet walked in to the Venezuelan embassy seeking a visa. Nobody said that. The father, Nazar Muhammad, your father, Hannah Muhammad, he with his feet walked into the Venezuelan embassy. That is what was established. To which, to date, he has never denied that he went to the embassy. Never denied it. So your father, Hannah Muhammad, went to the Venezuelan embassy, as was reported. So if you're going to try to say that the Venezuelan ambassador denounced claims, alleged claims that your brother, Azruddin Muhammad, went to the Venezuelan embassy to get a visa. No, nobody said he did. The ambassador was responding to rumors, not official narratives from the Guyana's foreign agency. No. They said that the father went there. And he never provided reasons as to why he went there. So let's leave that. Let's done with that. The man didn't lie. He reported exactly as he was told. The ambassador responded to speculations that Azruddin was there. No, Azruddin wasn't there. The father was there. The father always, go out and try to cover his son's sins, right? And get to, disturb the sand, the footprints in the sand, so that you can't trace the tracks of his criminal son. All right. Your brother will be sworn in, so come off of that nonsense. Just get off of it. Find some topics that is relevant today. Elections is over. Find some relevancy. Do like the VPAC people. They're constantly looking for some kind of handouts from the Win Party. The man's dreams were shattered. His dreams of being a parliamentarian was fucked up, shattered. So he's trying to cling to a straw because he's drowning into the political ocean, down to the bottom where he will be forgotten and just disappeared. He's holding on to the straw of, hey, please save me. Make me one of the Win persons. Let's get rid of Azruddin. Let's collate all the Win people. Let's come together and vote Azruddin out. Let's vote him out because he's bad for the country. He's bad for your party. It ain't gonna happen. It's not going to happen. I've said many times, you can't trust niggers. That guy is a nigger. You can't trust them. It ain't gonna happen. He's one of the persons who supported Win, right? He's one of the persons. Now you're against Ashradin. You want the man to be locked up? All of you waiting and hoping that, oh, please, FBI, come and take him. The Odessa Phillips woman and all these, the Rastafarian lesbian, all these people. Oh, please, FBI, come and take him. Please come and take him. Let him go. We want to control the party. Oh my gosh, let him go. Please come and take him. We beg you. And they're leaking information to all these pundits against their boss because they want him to go. They don't want him around. The people that he rescued from the gutter, that he makes relevant, he made relevant. Because if it was not for the Win Party, if it was not for Azrin Mohammed and the Win Party, all them niggas you see right now gallivanting, running around this, I'll be a soon to be member of parliament. The Obia worked. They go to their churches, their scam churches in the ghetto, and they're making big services, and they haven't. The pastor's like, yes, sister, I told you that God is going to anoint you, and God is going to make you a member of parliament. He will exalt you beyond their other scrapes in the ghetto, and you shall be called a member of parliament. And the Odessa woman, she's like, you see, fat didn't hold me back. Fat didn't hold me back. Look at me now. I'm a fat member of parliament in the Guyanese parliament. One man made it possible. Not the Obia, not the witchcraft, not the ghetto churches. One man. And he happened to be an agent of Satan. Because when you do the things you do, when you commit that kind of level of treason against your government, and when I'm talking about treason, I'm talking about conspiracy to smuggle gold, to rob the system, to involve in corruption and embezzlement. That is satanic. When you are complacent in doing things like that, you are an agent of the devil. So all the people in the Win Party, you're serving Satan, because Azradin is Satan. And you think you're blessed? Look at all the curses that are following. Look at all the curses. You think that is blessed? What is blessed about it? Your bank accounts are suspended. All your business deals are canceled. You can't earn. You can't do anything. If the billionaire don't give these people some money, they will starve the fuck to death. They can't eat. How the heck is that God? It's the devil. And you're celebrating that, and that's what you want to take to the parliament? That demonic cult, the Win cult, you want to take to the parliament? How is that different than Jim Jones? I see a resemblance. You put Azradin there, and you put Jim Jones' face. I see a resemblance. Can you do a DNA test to see if there's some kind of, bloodline there? Because the whole idea of what they're talking about is reminiscence of the Jim Jones rhetoric. Backbiting, undermining, spreading fake news, false information, threats. You want to take people out because you don't agree with them. You're conspiring to do all these evil. That's some Jonestown stuff. Jonestown is a little bit decent. Let's go to the Barnum stuff, because the amount of people that Barnum's massacre killed, the amount of people, Indian and innocent blacks, that died under the hands and direction of Forbes Barnum, it's worse. It's nothing compare. The Jim Jones strategy is nothing compare to what Barnum did to his own people. So Azradin, they're from that camp, the Barnum camp. And I can tell you, folks, Guyana wants deliverance. Guyana wants to breathe and continue to breathe. Do whatever you can to denounce the evil from the Win people. The evil. Yes, you want to share their stuff. You want to endorse the sister and whatever it is. But understand that these people are living in mansions. They literally eat with a gold spoon. They sleep on beds that you can't dream of. Even if you become a millionaire, you still can't afford the bed that they sleep on. You got to be a billionaire to afford that. And understand the clothes that that woman wears, the shoes and the bags and the watches and those things that those people wear, that's your whole house. That's the cost of your car. And you're putting your neck on the line for them. You're putting your neck on the line for them. They don't know one day of what it's like to need something. They don't know a day. They don't have that experience. They don't have that experience. Be smart and understand that the people that you need to sympathize with are the people who will suffer as a result of those idiots who voted for Win. The innocent Guyanese that will have to face the consequences for the stupidity of those Negroes that voted for Win and destroyed their own Bornamite party. Moving on. Have you seen what happened in the Oval Office of the United States White House involving Donald Trump, President Donald Trump? Say what you want. And to my Indian brothers and sisters, a lot of you may have your issues with Donald Trump, President Trump. That's your business. I ain't talking to the blacks yet. I'm talking to the Indian brothers and sisters. You may have your issues with Donald Trump, but yet you can't justify why you're pissed with the man. You can't justify it. You have no reason to be pissed. You're just following along with whatever the trend is and whatever the talking point is that, Trump is this, but ask yourself, why are you angry? Did Donald Trump do something directly to you, against you, that has affected your life as an Indo-Guyanese in America? How did the policy affect you? It didn't. If you are illegal, leave. If you broke the law, leave. What does that got to do with him and his policies? Nothing. So you have to channel your anger emotions in the right way. Target the Democrats with that. Now, what happened in the Oval Office is one of the reasons why, whatever you say, I will always stand beside men like Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. As a man, as a president, I will always stand beside people like that. The man inspires me. I have nothing against him or his policies. Those are the same policies I wish to have. If I'm president, I would implement policies that's similar to what Trump has implemented. That's it. Now, what Trump did, no other American president has ever done. Even our own local president, the Guyanese government. I want to see a picture. I want to see a video or any record that the Guyanese president has ever, any of the presidents, from, let's go as far as Chetty, from Chetty to Ali, where on Diwali, they lit a deer in the office of the president. Show me the record where any president has done it. Took a deer, the whole setup, and had a deer lighting in the office of the president. There is none. Yet, the president that a lot of you have issues with, you have no grounds for your issues. The man you call a racist, an atheist, all kinds of names you call the man. He And this is for the Indians. I'm not talking to anybody else. I'm talking to the Indo-Guyanese and Indo-Americans. I'm talking to. Hindus especially. The President Donald Trump lighted a deer. He himself took the light and he ignited the flames on one of the deers in the Oval Office, the most powerful office in the world, by the most powerful person on earth, was humbled enough, impartial enough, God conscious enough, religious enough, and respectful enough to get up from his powerful seat and light a deer in the office of the President of the United States. In the office, not on the lawns, not at some temple, in the office of itself. He lit it and it was left until it was burned out. Things like that is why I support President Trump. Things like that, spontaneous actions like that, makes the man greater than everyone else. Say what you want about him. No other president has done it before. None. The other thing that Donald Trump, President Trump, has acknowledged while they were there in the Oval Office, all Indians, with this white man, all Indians, some has had Guyanese roots. Some of the Indians that were in the Oval Office has Guyanese roots. The President of America said, he says these people are the richest in the world, the most powerful business minds in the world. They control the economies and technologies of the world. Without them, a lot of the stuff we have wouldn't function. Imagine the most powerful man in the world acknowledged that. And he's white. He said that the Indians who were in the Oval Office, the brown-skinned people, were the most powerful, wealthy, and without them, a lot of the stuff we have would not function. Tell me why you should demonize that man. You think it's easy for a white man who is accused of being a white supremacist to say things like that from the seat of the king, to acknowledge that he is nothing without these Indians? You think it's easy? It takes courage, humility to acknowledge that. And do you see how the Indians were dressed? You see how humbled? One of the guys who were there next to Trump, the Indian guy who was there next to Trump, this watch I'm wearing here is more expensive than the one he was wearing. And he was standing just next to Trump. And all these people were talking about was improving the lives of the global citizens. 200 billion investment, 150 billion investment, 40 billion investment, trillions of dollars. Yes. That's what they were talking about. How? Tell me, in this God's world. Now I'm talking to everybody else. So I hope I get your attention, Indo-Guyanese and Indo-American. I hope I get your attention. The people you need to stand with is the man who acknowledged your greatness. That's Trump and the Republicans. You need to stand there. You need to stand there. The Democrats are the ones who wants to fuck you up. Now, recently they had a group of Africans in the White House. All presidents and leaders in the White House. What do you think they were there for? They went before the king, who embarrassed them, who humiliated them, and then turned back and tell them, okay, we're going to give you some arms to help you with your issues. We're going to calm your wars and stop your fighting. We're going to do that. The great African leaders were treated like shit because they are shit as compared to the great Indian minds. They are not leaders, they are not presidents and politicians. They're just scholars, business people, CEOs, and geniuses. They were treated as lords. Because if you had to choose, you won't choose those fucking low-life politicians from Africa. You won't choose those beggars. You're going to choose the ones who make a difference in the lives of everybody. The cameras that you have, the phones that you use, the cars that you drive would not be possible if it wasn't for some of the people that were in the Oval Office with Trump. They make it possible because of the technology that they invented. Indians. So when you talk your nonsense, I bring to you the facts. I rather stand with progress, with prosperity, with peace, with longevity, with genius, wisdom, health. That's where I stand. This is why I stand with the PPP and the Indo-Guyanese, because they represent all that I've just mentioned. I'm going to be like Trump. I'm going to stand with the people that I can't live without. We can't live without the Indians. No country can. You think it's the Chinese? Moving on. Now, what's up with the PNC people? You're doing drugs now? I mean, you're smuggling drugs now. We had a case that I talked about yesterday with this idiot Sherrod Duncan, who wanted to create a public, disturbance, who wanted to drive fear in the Berbetians, the Indo-Guyanese and Berbice, the people that is feeding him, the rice farmers, the farmers. He wanted to drive fear in them because Berbice is largely PPP. He came out and pushed this false fake news about a prison break, knowing that the Indo-Guyanese, they're fearful for they're concerned about their safety. So anything to do with prisoners and prison escapees, you're going to cause people to become, hey, shit. Typically, that's what they do. A member of parliament. Now you have another member of parliament of the PNC. You can say the AFC, you can say the WIN, you can say whatever. They're all PNC. So this man that was caught during a traffic stop with so much kilos of marijuana, illegal drugs, en route allegedly to Perica, is an AFC member of parliament. He thought because he is a known member of parliament and the police knows him, he can get away with it. They see him behind the wheels. Oh, sorry, sir. Good evening. You can go. Not this time. If they're checking vehicles, they're checking every vehicles. Every vehicle they're checking. He thought because he's a member of parliament and black, coming from Linden, he'll get away with it. Oh, you know why? Because I have a theory. And my theory is how many of them got away with it 2015, 2020? How many PNC people, how many APNU people under the Granger government got away with smuggling drugs? How many? How many got rich from illegal drug smuggling, gold smuggling? How many of them? Because the PNC was in power and all the people, including this GHK Lal, who secured his position 2017. Who was president then? Granger, right? Granger was president. So GHK Lal, who secured his position as director of the Gold Board 2017, how many times, he's coming on and trying to, all these begging and pleading and crying and, oh, let the FBI come. You see why I say this is a PNC thing? Because since the Adriana case, and beyond that, the issue with the fire with the school and where the students in the dorm perished by a fire, it is always the PNC who keeps calling for FBI. Always the PNC. So when you hear people talking about, we want the FBI to come, you know that's a PNC. That's a PNC. They're the ones calling for FBI intervention every time. So now you have this idiot GHK Lal. Now, GHK Lal, you can't sue me for calling you an idiot because you are an idiot. You can't sue me for that. Yes, I can support my claim that you're an idiot. Because the things you're saying, only an idiot would say those things. So he's calling for the FBI to come and investigate the Gold Board. But he's not there. All the files would have been destroyed. So he wants to come and investigate now. No, GHK Lal. The FBI has done their work. When the case officially starts from the indictment of your boss, your former boss, we will see if you will be indicted also. In the meantime, I've said before, Guyana judicial system is not trying the case. It's the Americans that are trying the case. The same man that you hate, Trump, his judicial system. And who is the FBI director there? Kash Patel, a Hindu. Yeah, he wears the thing on his hand. We do the puja, right? Yeah. I have mine in a safe place. Because when you have it in your hand, all the thing, it get burst and cut. I have it in a safe place. So the AFC guy who tried to think he would get away with it, he didn't get away with it this time. Let me give him an advice. You know how the police knew to stop your bus? Because somebody leaked the information to them. Say, hey, he's coming with a lot of drugs. Maybe them niggas you think are your buddies, they're not your buddies. Maybe there's a snitch there. The snitch tells the police, hey, they're coming with drugs. All the time when these fools are getting caught with drugs, is somebody snitched on them. Somebody snitched. That's why they get caught. So you think that blacks unite? No, not under the PNC, not under the AFC. They don't unite. And you see now they're fighting under the Win Party. No, blacks don't unite. They snitch on each other. I wish they would snitch like that when it comes to catching these criminals that are continually robbing people, snatching their bags, sticking them up with knives, sticking them up with guns. I wish they can snitch on these types. More information came out about the woman that lost her life in Le Penitence, Georgetown there. somewhere in Georgetown, Le Penitence, East Le Penitence, or somewhere there. That's a ghetto. All the suspects that they got, including a woman, these are people from the ghetto. One is from Buxton, then Agricola. The ghetto. Look, I can't go wrong in this. I've said it many times, man. These crimes that are being committed is not by accident. These people that are committing the crimes, they are programmed for that. They are programmed, men and women. They are programmed for that. Look, I saw a video on Facebook there some time ago, I think it was recorded, where a black woman obstructed justice from the police who was executing their duties, arresting her son, whatever the offense was. And she proceeded to hit and bite. She bit the police on his hand to the point where he was bleeding. This is what the people have, this is what the police has to deal with. They wanted to gang up on the police. They would have, if they had weapons, they would have literally taken these police out. And yet the police is being asked to restrain themselves. Look at what the Home Affairs Minister. You had a loser, which is a man, Ben. Now you have this woman who is telling men they have to gain the trust of the citizens. The trust of the citizens that they can properly execute their duties. A woman is telling men who are seasoned police officers, who experience years of torture and torment and having to deal with the worst of the worst of the worst kinds of scums. She's telling them they need to gain the trust of who? Whose trust they need to gain? Home Affairs Minister? Waldron? Whose trust? You think the good citizens of Guyana is bothered with the police executing their jobs? They're not. They're happy. They are happy when the police comes in their neighborhood. The decent citizens are happy when they see the police. Do you know who have an issue with the police? The same people you're telling the police officers they must gain their trust. Criminals. The ghetto, the low-life scums from the ghetto who are biting the police, who are fighting the police, who are hitting and cussing, and they're the ones. You're telling the police to gain their trust, those fucking lowlifes? That's your strategy? So if they gain the trust of the police, then what? You think they wouldn't commit crimes anymore? You think they're not going to snatch people's bags and their chains and stick them up with knives? You think they're not going to do that? You think that somehow is going to affect a reduction in crime? Minister of Home Affairs? You think that's how you do it? And I thought you were tough. I thought you were tough. This is the chance we say we need to give the woman to lecture men how to deal with crime. You see why most children are spoiled? Because when the man wants to discipline his sons, mommy's saying, oh, no, my gosh, no, please, no. And when the fathers are not around, and the children turn out to be prostitutes, vagabonds, homosexuals, and criminals, they blame the absence of the father. He was not around to discipline his kids, but when he is around to discipline the kids, the mother, oh no, please, no, you're too harsh on the kids. Yeah. Same mentality. Now the Minister of Home Affairs wants to tell the police, men, how to deal with those thugs. Okay, I'm the shadow Home Affairs Minister. I took that from the PNC. Shadow. Whatever happened to the The cute one. What's her name again? Desire. Anyway, I'm the shadow Home Affairs Minister, and I'm saying to the police in Guyana, I want you to identify all the criminals. You say that your smart CT camera system is working. That's good. That's good. But the camera system is supposed to help you to identify the criminals. And when you identify the criminals, I want you to pursue them with dogs, canine, and you have. The police force do have canine. I want you to pursue the criminals with dogs, woof woof dogs, and get firepower. Don't go with these pistols. Get automatic weapons. Pursue them with that. Hunt them like the wild animals they are. And if they put up any resistance, shoot them on sight. I'm your shadow minister, and I'm telling you that's what I want you to do. Okay? Fuck the trust issue. I don't want them to trust you. You see, when they trust you, they don't respect you because they trust you enough to know that they can come and say, hey, take a little change here. You can forget that, right? Yeah. They can trust you to bribe you or attempt to bribe you. No, I don't want them to trust the police. I want the police to be brutal. To be brutal. I want to militarize the police. I want to make the police force a paramilitary. Forget the force. I want to make them a neighborhood army, military, militant. Go after criminals as soldiers would go after terrorists. Hunt the criminals down and treat them like enemies at war. Treat them like elements that must be eliminated. Okay? Get them. Burn the fucking ghetto. You see them shabby shacks all over, and you think the criminals are hiding there? Put fire to them. Burn them down. Smoke them out. Get the dogs to trace them. Get something for them and let the dogs sniff them out. That's what I would like you to do as your shadow Home Affairs Minister. Fuck the trust. Go after the criminals. You see what they're doing. You see how they're murdering your relatives, your daughters. You see what they're doing. You see how they're making it so bad that we continue to get this stain globally. Look at that. Donald Trump respected our esteemed president. Donald Trump respected President Irfan Ali. The Trump administration is sucking up to the Ali administration, to the Ali cabinet. Why? Because they respect the growth. They respect how the country is going. They respect the direction the country is going. And you're going to allow some lowlifes to mess it up? You are going to allow some lowlifes to mess it up? No, we have to wipe out the criminals by any means necessary. That Lola doll person who was gunned down in La Penitence, you're telling me they still can't find the criminal? They still can't find the man who did it? If you have to drain this, if you have to purge the police force, find out all the police officers that are snitching to criminals, find out the police officers that are leaking information, find the police officers that are corrupt, find them, charge them, and jail them. If you have to purge half the force, then to start recruiting credible people, then do that. If you have to hire retired agents from different countries to form an agency, a crime fighting agency in Guyana, hire them. If you can't trust your own citizens to solve crime, then hire police force from other countries. Get foreigners to come in. But you have to stamp out the crime. The PNC apparently controls the police force because 90% of the police officers are black. You can't trust them. And these black police officers, some of them are related related by blood to these criminals. They are their relatives. They went to school together. They're from the same neighborhood. There's some kind of sympathetic, sympathy there for the criminals. The most they will do is say, hey man, brother, what you doing, man? What you doing? You're making me look bad. Look, I'm gonna give you this one, I'll let you pass in this one, but don't do this, man. Don't do this, man. They won't arrest them, they'll try to talk them out of it. You don't need that. Whoever the criminals are, if the Indo-Guyanese and the Amerindians and the Chinese or whoever, the other citizens, if they want to behave like the ghetto thugs, if they want to be like these nigger criminals, treat them like that. Treat them like that. Understand, there is a small portion of the Guyanese African community that are doing this. They're not blacks, they're niggers. The majority of the blacks in Guyana are hardworking, peaceful, loving, kind. They live together with their neighbors. They protect their neighbors. They will never harbor these things. But we all know where these elements reside. We know where these elements reside. They are not many. There might be a few hundreds of them. We can find them. We can round them up. The police know who they are. The police always know who the criminals are. Trust me, they always know. Just go get them. If you find out that the judges are corrupt, then jail the judges. If you find out that the judicial system is politicized, it's polarized, and it's held ransom by a political party. If you know that's the case, then reform the judicial system. Recycle the judges. Take those out that you know that are passing judgment a certain way. Send them to different parts of the country. Take them out of the courtroom. Put people there that will deliver justice. If you don't treat the criminals how they should be treated, man, we are fighting a losing battle. We are fighting a losing battle. Enough with the Mr. Nice Guy. You tried all your life. Barjagio tried it. Hoyt was the only one with some sense, with some balls to say, put the death penalty back. Look at Guyana. It's a beautiful, progressive country. All you hear about is this amount of loans and this project and that project. Look, recently, the multi-billion-dollar water treatment plant. That's what's happening in the country. But instead of focusing on the mighty work that is being done within the Guyanese community, instead of focusing on where Guyana is going, how good and mighty Guyana has become, instead of doing that, we have to spend time dealing with these fucking criminals. Because they continue to be rats, to be a nuisance to society. And they're so fucking ugly. Have you seen these Negroes, man? My God, they're hideous. They're hideous. You would think that their mother was fucked by a pig to get them. You would think that their mother was raped by a monkey, a literal monkey, to make them. They're so fucking ugly. That's their excuse for being criminals, because they're hideous. They're nasty looking. The whole fact that they look like that, that's a crime. That's a crime. You see them, you're like, oh my God, they already commit the crime. Just showing up in society, just being there, it's a crime. Imagine when they go to commit the crime. The victim is like, oh, sorry, look, what do you want? Take it. The whole idea of having to look at those people, your heart stopped. They are so hideous. Seriously, they should have a special place for people like that. No human being should be born looking like that. They should be investigated, taken to a lab, Do some research on them to find out. I mean, how the fuck were you born this ugly? Something had to be wrong. And they use that default. They use that default to scare people away because they know they're hideous. So when people see them, people become afraid. They become afraid. They're terrorized by the looks of these people. They don't have to wear face masks. They don't have to wear face masks. Their face is a fucking mask. No human being would look like that, would look so corrupt in their face. Look who used to lead them. Norton. Now you understand. Now you understand. That's why he lost. Because the decent, nice looking black people, ain't no way he could be my leader. That fucking, no, ain't no way. I mean, let's look at the facts, man. Don't get all emotional and get worked up and you want to write some stupid stuff. Don't get all sensy, touchy. I'm speaking the facts. I'm speaking the facts. Look at the people who commit the crimes in Guyana. When they catch them, take a look at them. Take a look at them. So when you see those people in society, even if they may not be a criminal, the first thing you get a recollection is, hey, people like that are usually criminals. Because anybody that is this fucking ugly has to be a criminal. It's profiling, it's not good, but you can't blame the citizens. You get my point? No, but seriously. We have to deal with what's happening in the country. The good stuff. The Americans love Guyana. They are willing to bomb the hell out of Venezuela just because they want to protect Guyana. We have to give them something to want to fight for. But if you think Guyana is going through the same issue with like Haiti and Uganda and all these African countries that are fighting against each other, killing each other, you think anybody from the rest of the world would want to come and help? Yes and no. I mean, let these niggas kill themselves, man. But the fact that Guyana is represented by the most powerful people in the world, and when I say powerful, let's break it down a bit for you. Let me wrap things up with this. Since the independence of Guyana, there's only one group of people, one group that has made a significant contribution towards the development. They took risk. Some of them lost from the risk, some gained from the risk. Some of them committed suicide because of the risk they took and they lost. Some of them went out of their fucking mind because of the risk they took. But only one set of people took that risk since independence. And to this day, they continue to gamble on the economy of Guyana. And those people are the Indians. Everybody else that has benefited and prospered in Guyana did it on the backs of the Indo-Guyanese. Every other black millionaire in Guyana became a millionaire because of an Indian sponsor. Everyone. There is no self-made black millionaire in Guyana. There's none. Zero. All the millionaires, and they have a lot. They have a lot of black millionaires in Guyana. They have some billionaires too. But every one of them became that because of Indo-Guyanese who helped, sponsored, or showed them the way to make them what they are. And those same people are funding the PNC, AFC, and all these opposition parties against the Indo-Guyanese. Ungrateful. Same people. But to this day, If it was not for the PPP and the policies and the programs of the PPP, Guyana would still be the days, well, they do have some horse and cart, they still have some. Guyana will still be the days when you have to transport yourself back and forth from the market on a horse cart. You'll still be the days when you have donkey carts as taxis, or women and men courting or dating on bicycles. If it was not for the PPP, Guyana would be the same status as Haiti. Nothing would be done. You would have no bridges, you would have no roads. All the neighborhoods would still have mud dams. A lot of you would still have latrine, pit latrine, yeah, still have pit latrine. You will still have to take your showers in the yard. Think about it. Oh, and rice flour. You know, they used to say what they call the rice belly, the kids with the rice malnutrition. You still have that. If it was not for the PPP, I can guarantee you that. All of you now who are fancying with your cars and your smartphones and all these high life, it is because of Indian businessmen, real estate developers, innovators, specialists invested that is making Guyana what it is. It in the government. It in the government. Because all these projects that are being done, the government might be funding it, but they're not the ones doing it. It's being done by private developers, private contractors, and most of them are Indo-Guyanese. Why? Because they're the ones who struggled and educated themselves, took loans, mortgaged their families' properties, mortgaged their families' land, build constructing firm, hire people, sacrifice to build themselves up to the point where they can be eligible to execute contracts. They hire specialists from different countries, pay them high salaries just to get experience, to be qualified to get certain contracts. The Indians are the ones who keep taking the risk and keep gambling on their future, on their business, and not all of them it paid off for. Many of them lost everything in the process, but they start over. We need to be thankful, Guyanese, for that race of people. To be thankful, and the fact, Afro-Guyanese, that those Indo-Guyanese did not carry in their hearts what your king did to their ancestors, Burnham. They didn't transfer that to their children. They didn't push that into society and say, hey, we have to pay back to these Negroes. No, they didn't do that. They asked for the universe to forgive Burnham and his team. They didn't put it over to the followers and the followers' children. Because to this day, despite all that they suffered under the PNC, the people who hire most Afro-Guyanese are Indians. The people who does the most charity to Afro-Guyanese are Indians. The people who rent houses for Afro-Guyanese are Indians. The people who build houses for Afro-Guyanese are Indians. The people who invest, give loans, cover loans, stand as guarantor for Afro-Guyanese are not white people, are not Chinese people, are Indians. The least you can do, African, is be thankful to the universe that the Indo-Guyanese is present in Guyana. That's the least you can do. Thank the universe for that. Because the blacks can't help you. The PNC, the AFC, they can't help you. They never did, they never will. Namaste.